All right, welcome to the third act of the after party to the Start Is Near podcast, episode number 13. This is our third recording within the afterglow. And I'm gonna take off and carry on, everyone. Love you all and see you all soon. Call anytime. Thank you so much. Love you all so much. Oh my goodness, so
Thanks,
proud of
Dave.
us.
Love you.
All right, and James, thanks so much for staying up late. And this is just amazing. I'm so glad we're recording it all. Love you all so much. I can't even put it into words. Woo! We're doing it. See you all soon. Thanks. Bye for now.
Right, man. Take care. Love you all. I'll
Thank you.
talk to you, man. Take care. God bless. I'm going to be heading off shortly myself anyway, 'cause it's 10 past 2 in the morning here now, so I'm fairly tired myself. But yeah, the conversation was excellent all day. To be honest, I was fairly riveted to it all. Anyway,
Yeah,
everyone
it
has,
was,
yeah, everyone's got something important to say. Like, so it's great to be able to be in the space and allow that to happen and flow. Like.
yeah, it was nice to have Danny and Claudia and you and some of the old crew.
Yeah, yeah, I was delighted that Claudia and of course Danny. I didn't even recognize Danny's picture, you see, so I wasn't putting the pieces together at all.
Yeah, she normally she has that moth of hers for her
Yeah,
picture, her static picture.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, it didn't connect the dots at all there today. I wasn't with it totally. But I was delighted to see Claudia as well, and just wish them all well in Palenque this year as well. So yeah, and Sienna, thanks as well for not only for all your contributions, but for what you're doing in the back behind it as well, and for volunteering to reach out to Paul Becker for us as well. Thanks for all that. Like.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm beyond thrilled to be a part of a team who's actually doing something significant, honestly. I
yes.
just I can't say it enough. I've been looking for I call it my vibe tribe for 5 years and my husband is just he's been going nuts with me saying I'm just like I know the people who will understand what I'm trying to say are out there, and I know it sounds overly ambitious. And I know that I'm just one person and that there's not anything that I can do, truly by myself. But once I find the people who also understand the significance of this moment and start having the conversations, then everything will just start to come together. The pieces will fall into place. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's, yeah.
and since this is not like we're not looking for a one-time thing here, we want to do lots of after parties. I've been doing a little thinking ahead or maybe even depending on how things come together. Are you familiar with Steve Bartlett's podcast? Diary of a CEO?
I am not. I don't know if you're asking me. I really
Yeah,
don't pay
yeah.
attention
He's
to anybody specifically, other than maybe the Adrian Diven spaces. Yeah.
yeah. I he does a thing at the beginning end of his podcast where he's like, he says we look at our analytics and we can see that of the people that watch on a regular basis, only 69% have subscribed. So he always pleads for subscribers. He wants to get down to 50. I'm thinking a watch party could help with that. And I'm thinking now Steve Bartlett, the one I'm looking at here a month ago has 5.24 million views. So he's got a good audience, and maybe if not now, soon, however that works out, it would be good to have him interview uh Paul
His
for a watch
major platform. What's his main platform?
YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I need to become more proficient in YouTube. I mean, it's just not my primary platform, but I think I think once, we get enough people who are really super familiar with each of the platforms, maybe we could have a conversation on that and how we can kind of start connecting them. Because I truly, and it's what I said to Jamin kind of from the beginning, is I feel like we should meet people where they are, if we're going to be honoring a guest, and we want their subscribers to be there. So if, like Paul Beckwith has 30,000 followers on X, we can start the conversation there, because X is more of a conversation place. And it doesn't matter what experience you've had on there. It depends on the communities you're a part of. And the
Right.
communities I'm a part of are just having conversation, and we're having big conversations. We're not in there, nitpicking and doing silly stuff. We're trying to do things for humanity. There's a lot of people on there who are not, but just try not to get lost in that aspect. Understand that what is building very quickly is a humanitarian visionary type movement. And we'd be very wise to be ahead of the curve on that. So, and I know that's going to apply to YouTube. It's going to apply to Zoom. It's going to apply to Discord. It's a very fast moving train. So the reason I listen to the Adrian Spaces is because it's the top names and the visionaries who are kind of very much in the loop of what's happening in the world and how quickly things are happening. And they give real feedback. It's almost like, and you're finding out the news 3 days before it happens, because anything that happens that's of major, newsworthy importance, it has to go through all the filters. And then the editors have to get a hold of it, and it has to go through all the handlers and the puppet masters. And, by the time you get it, by the time the American or the world population gets their news, it's been heavily like kind of subjugated
Invented?
to, yeah, it's just so the main focus for me is how do we return to a sense of truth where the systems don't matter anymore, because what matters is citizens' access to what benefits them, and the only thing that benefits anyone is truth, love, and some sense of freedom to be able to, freedom of speech it's very, very significant. And I say that as a lifelong liberal who has just, in the past couple of years been like, holy shit, these bad things are happening like right in front of us and nobody's paying attention. And, once it gets to a certain point, we're going to be wondering why we didn't do something earlier. And I think this is that point. So that's my speech, my novella. James, I know, we connect on such a high level. And Alan, I don't know if you're still there. Marco, thank you for giving me the space. I'm having big conversations with a lot of people right now, and I'd like to try to start bringing everybody together. Yeah, because I think once we create kind of a general format for how to do these after party spaces, we could have thousands of them going at the same time. It doesn't just have to be our group handling one. You could basically just create the general algorithm for what works, and we need to have several to kind of work out the kinks and figure out the links and the splinter and things like that. But once we figure out what works and what doesn't, it can just be a general format.
Yeah.
And then once you promote it, what Jamin and I was laughing. I was like, who would not want to be a part of a truth movement, a movement towards, humanity, team humanity that is based in truth, and start there and then work out instead of starting on the equal or the opposite peripheral and working in, because, nobody will ever win using that approach. So I know I pissed people off. I apologize. I will apologize every call. I know that several people left the call earlier because I was speaking. I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm just here with a different perspective. And I just wanted that to be said.
People just leave because it's time to go. People don't leave because of you. It's just.
Oh no, I've been receiving DMs. No, people are no, I upset people. I do. I don't mean to. I just I have thought about some of this stuff for so long, and I know it looks like I'm a new person to these conversations, but I've been thinking about all the same things now for 5 years, and I've gone down literally millions of rabbit holes looking for the answers. So I don't come to this as um, as some ditzy newbie. I have a lot of information that
Keep
that I've been
upsetting
compiling
people.
for a very long time. So it's I'm just biding my time until I can kind of show what I've been working on. And James
Keep
is
upsetting people.
yeah, James and Jamin and Mike are the people who basically said we want to see we want to understand your story because it sounds like it's significant. So that's all. And it has nothing to do with me. It's just the
Well,
very like magical, miraculous experiences that I've had and the wisdom that I have garnered from these magical, mystical, highly mystical experiences. And I'm not religious, but they are of biblical, um, nature. They just are. So, yeah.
I get that. Did I don't know if you know my story about going to Palenque and being invited by Chief Bill to go down there. Uh, well, in last year, I started getting Phil started sending me all the information on the talking circles and everything that need to be done in the rituals and the rules and the covenant and everything to do with electing the first sacred council of the union of the condor, the quetzal, the hummingbird, and the condor. Eagle, condor, quetzal, hummingbird, yes. Which represent all the different, like the eagle is North America, the quetzal is Central America, the condor is Bolivia, and the hummingbird is like the islands and the Amazon. So, and I'm like, and he sent it me to me more than once, so I'm like, okay, I better read through it all, you know. And then I got sent the invitation from that Adriana had printed up, which had pictures, and then there was a description of the ceremony, an equinox ceremony that they're going to have at the um, archaeological site in Palenque at one of the pyramids temples, you know, with the stepped pyramids. And I saw that and I'm like, oh my God, that is the thing the funny pyramid I dreamt about when I was 10. Because when I was 10, I had this dream about seeing like a pyramid shaped thing, only it had steps, and which, when I was 10 was 1971. So it was not, I had no idea. I don't think most of the world had any idea of other pyramids than in Egypt at that time. Uh, and I had had the dream a few times since, but the other thing that was weird is that there were like jungle plants around. There if you looked around and behind, and there was, jungle plants. I'm like, that doesn't even worse, doesn't make sense. But sure enough, and I had that was all real clear, but the like surrounding me, there were like lots of people, like some celebration or some, but they were only like shadows. I didn't really see them in any detail. It was just barely aware that they were there and all around me while I was staring at this pyramid, and so they send out this flyer, and there's a picture of the pyramid I dreamt about. I'm like, I guess I'm supposed to be there. And sure enough, that's where I ended up, and we spent quite a few nights sitting with Chief Bill, James, and I. And one night, Phil just looks at me in the middle of conversation. He says, "You need to see PJ." I'm like, "Who's PJ? Why do I need to see him?" Um, and he said, "Oh, he's our medicine man, and we've got this medicine protocols that he said I've been through it. He'd been through it. He told me a couple other people that I know that have been through it. He said, there's healing in this that you need, and he's like, if you can get yourself to British Columbia, he said, I'll hook you up with Medicine Man." And so I did find my way there, and I did my first plant medicine in April, and I had another plant medicine journey in October. In this heart protocol is what it's called, and it really opens up your heart chakra. And there's lessons to learn in the journey. It's not like in the movies where you go on your vision quest and you get all the answers magically from some, glowy figure. It was more of like a list of shit I have to do to get my life in order, and and questions I had to answer. I didn't get answers. I got questions that I needed to answer, for myself or with other entities that I interacted with in the journey. So I've got two more to do in this protocol. But yeah, it's like so there's a couple synchronicities. First of all, how a dream you first had when you were 10 now comes true. Is like there's actually is that place. And then this is 52 years from when I had the dream. And 52 years in Mayan timekeeping is called a bundle, and it's a very significant amount of time. And this was 52 years from when the prophecy came together, when the eagle came down to fly with the condor and the quetzal, is how the prophecy goes. Is that'll be the end of 500 years of winter, signifying a spiritual winter, where the tribes were and the clans were all fighting. Now they've all come together. This is a prophecy. They've come
Marco,
together now to reunite the
Marco,
rest of the world, and with our indigenousness, bring us to remember our indigenouses as one people and save ourselves.
Marco, skip to the bit where you transmitted this message behind me.
Yeah, there's another one. That was I don't know. Did I transmit, or did you pull it out of me? I don't know.
Well, we were trying to astral project and hook up because he's got these dreams he has, and I'm admin in a lucid dreaming group, and so we were trying to do it. And at night when we're dreaming, we never remembered any of our dreams. We never had any hookups. But when we were actually on the Zoom call, I fell asleep, and I didn't know I'd fallen asleep. But Marco sat forward and he held his phone up and he put his phone right up to the screen, and the image on the screen was white dots with lines connecting them, and I couldn't see it properly. So I sat forward to see it, and when I sat forward, I actually woke up and sat up, and he was just sitting there as he usually is on his computer typing away. And I thought, oh, that was a dream. So I asked him about it. No idea. And then what was it? Just a few days later, I saw this video that you'd already seen for the first time. In this exact moment, in the video, is talking about the tribes, and each dot is an individual person reaching out in all different directions digitally to all the other people digitally. And it says, but the real quickening happens when they meet face to face in person, and then everything changes.
So it gets even better. So we watched that video quite a few times. We had quite a lot of traffic the first couple days after we'd seen it, so we kept replaying it for everybody. Look how amazing this is. And then when I went to do my first plant medicine journey, the medicine man, he says, I'm gonna, we're in a WhatsApp group, and he said, I sent you a bunch of links in WhatsApp. You need to watch. You need to especially watch this one video. He says it's fairly short. He said it's from Charles Eisenstein. I'm like, The Gathering of the Tribe, and he goes, yeah. I said, I've seen it. He goes, well, he said, the reason I wanted you to see it is because I needed you to know that this is who you are. So,
An iPhone. I don't know your name, iPhone, but
it's Sienna.
Sienna. Talking about upsetting people. Problem with people upsetting people is everyone's set already in their own ways, and they all want to set up some way to get everyone else to be set in their ways. And they're all got brilliant ideas, they've all got great concepts, but they've all got agendas. And their agenda's taking up so much of their time, they're set in their ways. You need to upset all of them, swirl them round and round and round, all mix them all up, get them swirling around and round a big circle. Hopefully, when they all settle down, they'll set into one matrix of lines and dots, all connected, and one set protocol, which is love.
I adore you, Alan. I adore you. I adore all of you, honestly. Yeah, please know that I am not here to piss anybody off. I think everybody on this space knows that that is not what I'm here for, but I tend to push the envelope of people's comfort zones, and that's all I do. I don't say anything unkind. I don't say anything untrue, but I do push push people's comfort zone. So
That's my job.
just understand that's all it is. I mean, you can listen to any recording of me speaking. It's so funny. I was just on a space with Elon Musk, and that's what he was saying. He's like, I do not attack. Well, it was in Adrian. It was but he said, I may be an asshole, but if you're coming to my space, you kind of, you play by my rules. And if you're coming on expecting something from me that I'm not here to give, then I'm going to bounce you down to listener. I'm not excluding you from the conversation. I'm just, and I don't need to give you an explanation for that. Because basically I'm important and I'm here to have big conversations. And if you are trying to divert the conversations that I'm trying to have, I don't owe you an explanation for that. I'm just dropping you down.
I've seen him do that. I've seen him do that in several interviews. People try to leave him off and he's like takes it right back and slaps them down. It's really good.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been at the receiving end of that probably, I don't know, more times than I can count, honestly. No, he's very, 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 very familiar with me. But and I trigger him, but the thing I've noticed is whatever I trigger him with, within a week or two, he's talking about the same topic that at the time he was just like, I've been called woo woo. I've been called, once, it was the craziest thing. It's actually one of the last times I spoke on his space, and it was a very big, high profile space. But he essentially said, "Oh, aren't you seem to be an expert on every topic I ever bring up." And I was like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do with that. He said, either he's accused me of being AI. He's accused me of being a bot. He's accused me of being a troll. He's accused me of being like Russian surveillance. It's ridiculous. And the whole time I'm like,
you are in tune with every subject that there is, because it's the answer to everything. Just like I had up earlier on, 42. It's the answer to everything.
Alan, you're gonna love. Hold up. You're looking at the post down below? You guys are about to get very interested in my story. because I've been building upon it for a long time. But Alan, everything you're saying, and I also have some cool Mayan. We went to Mexico last year, and to Tulum, and I had a very, very profound spiritual experience there after visiting, some of the pyramids. So I will post pictures of those too. But shoot, what was the thing I was just going to post a photo of? Oh, the 42. You mentioned the 42 reference. Alan, you will get a big kick out of this because this is actually a painting that I've been making. Every time I'm in Adrian's spaces, and I've been in them for 4 months now, I pick up this painting, and it basically incorporates grok, which with the number 42 at the top, and you'll see in a second. Yeah, it's literally right beside me right now. It's a very, I mean, I can explain it to you because there's a lot to explain, but yeah, it should be coming in right now. So if you scroll in on it, Alan, you can see the grok and the number 42 at the top.
What screen am I looking at?
It should be down in the chat, and
On
it's not
chat.
done. It's not done, but everything that you're bringing up, like the
Oh yeah, it's loading.
gathering of the tribe, and you've mentioned so many things that directly correlate with thoughts that I've had today or things that I'm working on. I mean, this painting is literally, I was literally working on this moments ago.
Is that taken from the hand of God reaching out to touch the hand of man type of thing, or is that just a?
It is. So the hand on the left is actually Elon Musk, and the hand on the right is his son X. And the significance of this is, so he has taken us to live SpaceX launches. He's taken us to the Cybertruck launch. He talks about Tesla a lot. So the big red T in the middle is actually going to be a Tesla logo once it's just everything's in the middle is basically a placeholder right now. But Grok is his AI answer to ChatGPT and OpenAI. And it's part of the, if you're a Premium Plus subscriber on X, you have access to Grok. And it is a comical take on AI. But what they're finding is that it's also a non-biased take on AI. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the fact that OpenAI, if you put in "Show me the founding fathers," it comes up with everyone is Black or American Indian, and the algorithms are programmed so as not to do anything offensive. And in essence, it's doing the opposite. It's offending everybody because it's like, wait, you have to show minorities, but because of that, you're basically, I mean, your algorithm doesn't even work. It was like show a picture of, Clarence Thomas. I think, and a white person came up, but show me a picture of Martin Luther King. I mean, it's this really weird algorithmic. I don't know. Just Google it. Sorry, or I can post things, but it's one of the big concepts that they're dealing with right now and trying to solve. If whether AI is influencing what we believe or if we are influencing what AI is able to do. And same is going to go with the robotics conversation. And if we don't stay ahead of it, then we become, kind of victim to the outcome that, we can now foresee and potentially have some say in. So that's kind of where I am. And so when I get on the Adrian spaces, I try to push the envelope, because why not? Why not?
What you were saying,
That's what I'm here to do. That's what
what you
I'm
said
here to
about
do. And
what you said
go
about
ahead,
not
I'm sorry.
being like religious or whatever, a lot of people are. So we need to kind of find hooks that can bring them in. And there are lots of them because all the religions have one big hook, which is love and unity and peace and all that kind of stuff. They all have that. Buddhism's good because I'm a lucid dreamer, and they're all about lucid dreaming. But Christianity and Judaism, you've got that picture with the touching the finger thing. When Abraham, sort of the founder of Christian, Jewish, and Muslim, asked what God's name was. I was watching Joan Osborne singing, "What if God was what?" And it's asking if God had a name. Now, the name of God's always been like a mystery because it's 4 characters and nobody can pronounce it, and it's never been pronounced. But the original answer to that question was, "I am." And he never finished the sentence. But the answer is love. And you can't say that with words. So I am, and then a feeling of love waves out, and Abraham feels it. And then the rest of his life, he tries to explain what it was and never really quite got it on paper. And nobody can. But you can with song and you can with dance. And it was World Peace Dance Day yesterday. It's supposed to be the day before, but leap year pushed it forward.
It was supposed to be the day.
Sorry, I am like getting lost in screens here. I was trying to post another picture. Because Alan, everything you mentioned, I actually, one of my first paintings that I painted was of Abraham. And the left side of the painting, I just started painting in 2019, shortly after my first spiritual awakening. I mean, within like a week, I think. And now I paint every day. But I was never an artist before that, and all of a sudden it's all I want to do. But I painted Abraham, and a painting that I started on my 50th birthday, and it was titled the Corona Reset. And to me, it was kind of a double meaning of, Corona being the third eye chakra, and Corona the pandemic, obviously. But to me, there would be a reset moment after this global this simultaneous shutdown, this thing that every person in the world, other than remote tribes, would somehow be impacted by, even if it was, a ripple effect, and it would take much longer. Everybody would somehow be receiving the tail end of this global event. And I thought this would be a great moment for, some thought leaders to get up and say, hey, everything just changed in an instant. So let's start having positive. If everything can change in an instant for the bad, let's have, sorry, my dog is, Lola, stop. Maybe let's change the discourse to have conversations that can manifest the good. And then, and just stop me if I start going into things that, Lola, stop it. Sorry.
42 is from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, one of the things is you're always supposed to, or you're never supposed to forget your towel. Now, only good thing that came out of COVID was hand wash. There's a tiny little single dose of hand wash there, and this tiny little. I carry that with me, so if I need to wash my hands, just you've got to take the lid off or it spills in your pocket. Put that in your hand. Your hands smell amazing, and you don't need the towel because it just vaporizes and it's gone. And one of the things that the towel was, they suggested that the towel, because they said the towel is useful for everything. You can use it as a pillow, you can use it as a blanket, you can use it as this, you can use it as that. And if you're in a dangerous situation and someone's attacking, you wet it and spin it, and then you use it as a weapon. But we're getting rid of weapons, so now you just wash your hands of all that.
I have never seen anybody as excited about hand sanitizer as this man.
In preschools, I think some of the kids were drinking it because they realized they could get drunk off of it. I mean, can you imagine? Oh, Betty Ford type of, getting buzzed. It's kind of gross, but
Betty Ford.
so Alan and Marco, is James still here? Is he asleep? I know it's late. He may have fallen asleep.
James, he didn't announce he was going up to his cot yet.
He may have just fallen asleep. I fall asleep in meetings all the time because I'm in spaces sometimes until the sun comes up. Those are the conversations I'm having with people. They go very, 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 very deep. So yeah, it's with Jamin and I, we had a great conversation yesterday, and at one point he said, "The time is now," and I said, that should be the statement. I mean, that should be our motto. The time is now, and I don't know. I see simplifying just all the issues to the point where we just have the right team of people. And it's kind of like when a president starts to assign members to his cabinet or her cabinet. Hopefully, it'll be a her soon. They're basically saying, okay, who are the experts in these fields? And that's what I was trying to bring up earlier when I started pissing everybody else off. It's what if we rewrite all the systems? But it's just basic. It's just basic facts. It's like, how would you build a cabinet for a new presidential, and now consider that blank slate, but apply that to everything, and not just in the US, but the US is where the momentum would start. And then, other countries would basically want to follow suit because they realize that the old systems, the old ways of the power, kind of like the lineages and the masters that are about to be fully exposed. I don't know how much you guys pay attention to, but there's a lot that's about to happen. A lot of really dark things are about to be exposed about very famous people. And when that happens, again, everything's going to change. Everything will change in like an instant, because people you looked up to and really respected and bought into their entire philosophy will be, shown as the complete opposite. And when public opinion at that level or changes at that rapid of pace, it can lead to like chaotic outcomes like civil war and things. But again, with the right people having the conversations, we can avoid all war, we can avoid all conflict, we can avoid all ideological issues, all geopolitical issues. It's just a matter of starting the right conversations and having the people who understand how to make that happen. And that's what I'm offering here. I'm a brilliant logistician who truly, I mean, when I say I have no personal agenda, I have none. I mean, I have none. If I had had a personal agenda, I would have done something about this a long time ago.
It's the people with no personal agenda that is going to get the people who are stopping us from getting anywhere, because they've all got their personal agenda.
They do.
The people who've not got a personal agenda are going to actually fix it because they've nothing to lose and everything to gain. An agenda. We need an agenda.
Let's do it.
An agenda that brings everybody else's agendas into harmony, and that's just 42 hours long.
We need an agenda, but no personal agenda. So if we what I'm recommending is we start coming up with an agenda for and I'm talking a very, very high level agenda. It's not this conversation, that conversation. It is, what is the best case scenario 10 years down the road for humanity, for the planet, for all life kind. That includes animals, bugs, whatever. What is the best possible outcome? 10 years down the line, 100 years down the line, and factor in all the things that are going to happen. Because truly, it's going to be very easy to start forecasting because tech is, now that it's here and now that we're going to have robots in our homes within a decade, and we're not going to know what's real or what's not. AI has already made that happen. I mean, you're going to be able.
This picture
Yeah.
behind me now is a movie that hasn't been made yet. In fact, it's a movie that hasn't even been written yet.
Is this a story that you've written?
Well, I'm helping to write it. He's asking me, because I'm a lucid dreamer, to help him to write it. The main character is a lucid dreamer, but he dies and gets sent back as with his wings to go inside people's minds and dreams and do like the Charles Dickens conversion thing, like Christmas Carol. You know how
What's his name?
they converted Scrooge. Oh, the character is called Billy Angel. But it's a Hollywood film director who is trying to reorganize Hollywood because he's disgusted with them. He's trying to like get rid of the old Hollywood and have a new way of doing things. He uses ChatGPT and all that to help him write the script. Comes up with actually ChatGPT is brilliant. If you come up with a few ideas for a script and you're very, very specific,
Does everything.
Instantly you've got it written and it's perfect.
Alan, that's exactly what I was saying to Jamin earlier. Because somebody was saying, this, I think it was Doc was basically, I pissed him off earlier because he said you can't, what you're recommending that we do involves so much work. And my answer was basically no. AI is literally simplified the process so much that, it's not like we have to build all these campaigns and approach all these different people. It's not extra work. It's like you create a formula, you program it into AI, and then it creates it for you. It creates it can create everything. It can create music now. It can create movies. It can create, work systems.
There's nothing it can't do.
There's nothing it can't. And that's why 80% to 90% of jobs, they say, and it's not like all jobs are going to go away, but the current jobs that exist will cease to exist because AI is going to rewrite everything.
Surgery as well. If you get like the robot along with the AI, it's actually better at microsurgery and fixing people. So it's even better doctors.
Alan, it's what's so crazy. And this is insane to me. 25 years ago, I was working for a defense contractor. And I remember going out to San Francisco and they had, it was like this big, it was probably the size of like 3 phone booths. And it was kind of a tunnel, but it was a surgery, it was like a robot arm performing surgery. And what it was meant to do, and this is 25 years ago, a surgeon could be on land performing surgery on someone on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the sea through a robot. And this was 25 years ago. This was a program that I was involved in. And I just remember being fascinated by it. I was like, oh my gosh, when is that going to be a reality? And that was almost 3 decades ago. So I think there's always technology that the public is not like super privy to, that is decades, like right now, the things that, are being produced that the human or the general population is not privy to is profound. And the knowledge that's been kept from us, just like it was mentioned earlier, I just thought there were pyramids in Egypt. And then you find out that they're all over the world, and you find out there's time portals all over the world. And then it's like, okay, what else am I being kept from understanding? And then once you start asking those questions and you start going down all the rabbit holes, and trust me, I've gone down millions of them, looking for answers. Because anytime I start to identify, kind of the magnitude of what's going on with me, I encounter a lot of hostility. So thank you. I mean, I'm actually very excited to have this conversation because I trigger people, and I don't mean to. I don't mean to. I just
All that's been written of this movie is that he is sent back to convert people to the good side, and he's got to convert the whole world and bring about world peace. And every other movie is about how we find this amazing new technology and we can fix everything, and then it turns against us, or everything's like how things could possibly go wrong or how they could go even wronger. And he wants to make a movie about how we actually fix it, and when it's done, it's fixed.
I'd like to be a part of that. I'm not
like
kidding.
A template of how we might actually do it.
I'd love to be a part of the conversation, and because that's literally that's exactly where my head is. And there's something else. Oh, is he based on a specific archangel?
He's got a list of well,
The reason I asked,
Billy Angel's
Alan,
meant to be a
is
human who is made an angel by, I think he's got Metatron as one of the ones he talks about.
yeah.
He's got a bunch of stuff written down already for characters, so that he can do pictures like this of sort of teasers of what it's going to be about, but no actual nothing set in stone on the script other than we've thrown ideas about. We've got
I didn't know if
room.
he was inspired by a specific archangel. I'm actually part of a group, and they call are you familiar with the organization Gaia?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, and this I mean, it'll all start I will start making sense to you guys a lot more once you understand the people I've been talking to, and kind of the I don't know, the stages I've been trying to set up to kind of just start bringing people together. But within the Gaia organization, he was the CFO, and like 3 or 4 other people in high level positions with Gaia. We were having monthly archangel calls, and we would do readings, we would do meditations, and we would talk about what we could do to help change things. And if you're familiar with Gaia, you'll know that people like Joe Dispenza and Billy Porter, and I mean, the list is endless. I can't recommend enough getting a subscription to Gaia. It's $100 a year, but the content on there it's just unreal. Any topic that any topic you want to Gaia, yeah, Gaia.com. But if you want to do a deep dive into UFOs,
I was on Gaia.com when it was a chat room.
Okay. Well, the people, the reason I brought it up, Alan, is because they are very much big believers in archangels, and the fact that there are archangels on the earth right now who signed up for a very specific mission to help humanity. And that's what the Thrive Tribe is to me, or the Gathering of the Tribe. And the fact that you have that behind you, and the images that I've been painting, the images that come to me that I channel, it always involves angel wings, it involves mountains, it involves the ascension of kind of from 3D to 5D to higher dimensions, because we are multi-dimensional beings. And it's taking the stigma out of what we're innately we're powerful beings, and we have been distracted to the point where we've forgotten. More angel wings, Marco. Oh, I love it. This is making me happy.
I'm feeling it tonight.
Guys, I'm about to tell you some really exciting stuff. Because when I say I'm a channeler, I've got like super cool messages to share. But I don't resonate with many. I can tell you that. So I'm honored to be here. Honestly, I don't know if is it just the three of us? Is everybody else? I know
Let's
James
see.
and Melissa had to check out. I think James might be asleep.
James has his computer on for when he comes back. There's two of me and James.
James in the recording, basically. And the
Okay.
book transcribing.
Oh yeah, we are recording.
Can so earlier tonight, and just bear with me for a moment. I know, gosh, I usually get cut off right as I'm trying to get to a point. So I like to try to come up with, like I said earlier, like best case scenarios. And I think it's easier to have a conversation with two people. So could we maybe just talk best case scenarios for, I don't know, like 10 minutes or so?
Sure.
And on like on a global scale. And then, I mean, to me, I don't know, it's a whole lot easier to figure out kind of like the best outcome rather than sit there and fret about the worst outcome. And you have to be aware of the bad things that that could happen, but you have to factor it in as kind of, it's just part of the process. Let's figure out how to solve it. So
it's work for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we are on the same page, and yeah, just tell me if I piss you off, please. I know I piss people off. I've been married for 21 years, and I piss my husband off daily. So yeah, just be honest with me. And I will be honest with you. I have very, very, very thick skin.
Yeah, I think I pissed my wife off for the last time in our 27th year together.
Wait, are you not together anymore?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Been divorced since 2013.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
Kids?
Yeah.
How many?
Two. One, my daughter, I met at birth, helped deliver her. My son I met when he was 17.
Oh my.
He
Were you not
adopted me.
aware?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. I guarantee you, I know where everywhere I there is no
Okay.
possibility. But it was a kid that worked in a restaurant where I worked. He hired him in as a dishwasher, and he just adopted me. And while he has a stepdad and a biological father out there, they weren't good enough for him, so he adopted me.
I
Turned
love
out,
that.
so I got two beautiful kids.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, I have three of my own at home. And I have my mom down in the basement who, I mean, this is fascinating. Actually, you guys will be interested in this. So she is her whole life, she's been kind of like out there, you know. I'll try to make it brief, but her father was an army chaplain. He was at Normandy, oversaw, thousands of deaths there, actually, like gave the last rites. He became a prisoner of war, and was under really, really horrific Nazi treatment for many months, until he and a bunch of his fellow guys, were able to escape. And so my mom, I don't even think she met him until she was like 3. And by the time she met him, she said, I don't know what to call you. But, childhood trauma aside, there's a thing to kind of the lineage of, just our ancestors, our bloodlines, our blood type. And something about what my mom brought to the table through my grandfather. He goes all the way back to George Washington, like the crossing of the Delaware. and I'm not kidding, my great grandfather was in, you know, the painting crossing the Delaware. My direct relative was one of those people, and he was the leading up to president of the United States. There was something called leader of the Second Continental Congress or something. I don't know. I'm not a history person, but that is, that's my lineage. So to me, what I've come to understand is kind of it's almost like a passing on of the baton. And then on my father's side, interestingly enough, it's a very similar situation where my grandfather he was the assistant director of Fish and Wildlife for the Department of Interior. And he was a profound, humanitarian, and he fought for, like the rights of animals and the rights of hunters. And, it sounds like a weird balance, but it's there. um, and, so I feel like I have so much of both of them in me, because one was like a real fighter. My paternal grandfather actually saved the whooping crane from extinction. And it's crazy, just because, that became like, that was like an animal that was at risk for extinction, sorry, when he was in charge. So, just fast forward to, um, I've done everything that I really feel like I needed to do in life. I do want to see the Northern Lights. Um, but I have a very profound sense of responsibility. I just feel this very profound sense of responsibility because of what has happened to me over the last 5 years, and very specifically leading all the way up to this conversation. So, yeah, I know, and I told Madness this, I think the first time I talked to him, I said, there's a big puzzle being put together here, and everybody brings a piece to the puzzle. And some pieces, might just all have one color. Other pieces might have, lots of vibrant colors, so it's easier to place them. And then there's a corner piece. And for whatever reason, I feel like I'm a corner piece, just because I've been waiting for 5 years, and it's only gotten more interesting. I've been told the whole time, just bide your time. You will know, the conversations will come to you. You do not need to be selling yourself, or searching for anything. The conversations will come to you, and it will make sense. And things will start to fall into place. And once things start falling into place, then it will be so evident on, first in like just within our little bubbles, because I'm talking about manifestation on a global scale, just with shared intentions within groups of people, having conversations like these. It is that simple. And once we are able to relay that out, that these conversations, and the after party is very specific to this. Once people come together and a shared sense of purpose and a shared sense of intent, then that's when changes start happening, and very quickly. And we are witnessing it right now. Things are about to change so quickly. Most people will get whiplash. So, I was just telling my mom that, last night. Oh, that's how this started. So she's one of the top illustrators for USA Today for 33 years. And so she led a very big, kind of cool, colorful life. She has since developed very, very profound Alzheimer's, and she lives in my basement. And we'd all kind of not given up on her. She goes almost everywhere I go. And, I love her, and, we don't have a bad relationship, but she is like a goldfish and will ask the same questions. I mean, sometimes she's just finishing asking a question and she's asking it again. And it's not like interesting questions. It's like, oh, what time do you usually eat? And stuff like that. But last night, I was having a very profound spiritual experience yesterday, and I went down to give her medication because otherwise she throws it away or loses it or something. So I have to give her medication in specific doses. And I happened to go down there and I just sat and I was in a really just a very unique headspace. And I wound up sitting there and talk down there and talking to her for 2 hours, which I haven't done in probably 10 years. I don't know. I mean, her mind has been disintegrating so quickly for so long that I'm just happy she knows who I am, kind of thing. But last night for 2 hours, she was completely lucid. She was asking questions. I told her about this group. And this is when it gets interesting. She all of a sudden, it's like her whole persona changed. And she wanted to know the topics of the conversations we were having and the significance of the spirituality, the aspect of, oh, wait, is somebody else talking? I'm sorry.
I
I mumbled something under my breath. I didn't mean to.
Oh, no. I
Yeah.
didn't know if I'll talk for a long time and I don't mean to just be, hogging the space. Just
Yeah,
if
no,
you
no,
ever need
no,
to.
you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah,
Harp noise.
it's all, it is all like, it's crazy interesting. Once you hear it in the scope of like how I'm trying to tie it all together. And I know I don't know, it's a lot of, my husband calls it word salad, as I always say. But it's like, I'm very much a big picture person, and trying to tie, you know, all scenarios in together to get the best perspective. It just helps, see the solution. It helps to not enter into conflict, which it's funny. I mean, as much as I piss people off, nobody ever comes after me, ever. And it's something I've realized, very specifically recently, that I've never had anybody try. And I've never had a guy, and I've dated a lot of guys. I dated a lot of guys before my husband. No one ever broke up with me. I've never been fired from a job. Um, I've never pissed somebody off to the point where, they could actually tell me that what I did was worse than what they did. So my mom last night in this conversation, she said, and I could tell she was a little offended because she's been kind of like, she was searching for truth and searching for like something bigger, her whole life. And she said, so why do you think you were chosen? And it really, it was one of the most profound things she's ever said to me, because I've kind of taken care of her my whole life. She left when I was 9. And it's funny, I never blamed her. I never was angry with her for that, even though the way she did it was terrible. She just didn't, she found a guy that uh, who didn't want kids, and she left. She left my dad, she left my sister, she left me. And so when she said this last night, because she's always been very, 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 very self-centered. It's like her needs come first, and then she's very loving, but just very, very self-centered. Any mother who leaves their kids at the age of 9, tells you everything you need to know. She could have sent us to our grandparents or something, but she was looking out for her own interest. Uh, but she said, you know what? Why do you think you were chosen? And I'm thinking, because of how resilient I needed to be to deal with the shit that was thrown at me, my whole life. I'm disabled. I don't know if you guys know that. My legs haven't worked properly in over 30 years. Actually, I've got a lot of 33s. I think it's been about 33 years that I've had problems with my legs. My best friend of 33 years. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, we'll get that fixed soon.
Get what fixed?
Your disability, we'll get that fixed soon. You'll be running around.
Oh, that's what Mark was saying. He said, "Oh, Chizzy." I'm like, I need to understand Chizzy. Can you guys explain Chizzy to me?
It means whatever you need it to mean, but it's got an acronym meaning.
Well, just I really don't understand. I've heard it mentioned, but I don't understand the
Oh, okay.
concept enough. Yeah.
Okay, it's simply collective intelligence, only it's collective human intelligence, but we're pushing it the next step farther, collective superhuman intelligence. And I know superhuman or
Human super intelligence.
yeah, collective human super intelligence. And super intelligence is one word, but if you split it into two, you get CHSI. And then we're choosing to pronounce that Chizzy.
And what are the factors that's dependent on the superhuman intelligence? Is it based on education, based on IQ, based on
It's based
conceptual
on
understanding?
no, it's based on all of us putting our knowledge together collectively creates the superhuman intelligence.
Oh, I see.
Humans.
As a collective. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I love that.
So if we when we, and the idea here is there, like for the longest time, we were like, all we got to do is get, the oh, now I can't think of the word. It's already been a long day here. Um, the 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 minimum number of people needed. There's the other word for it. I can't think of it right now. Um,
It's okay. We get it.
the minimum number of people you need to make the change. That number where it tips. And we realized, we're trying to get that amount of people together. And we realized, actually there are that many people out there that get it, are working on this. But what the problem is we're not working together.
Oh, you're speaking my language, Marco. Okay. So let's get them
So
together.
so that's what we're doing. That's
Yeah.
the coming together creates the Chizzy.
Gotcha. All right.
And
I'd like to help. I'd like to help with that specifically because that's very much in my wheelhouse.
so that's going to involve using the AI, and because and it's coming together really nicely now with Mark and Mike and you and Hope and Victor and Jacob and several many others and ones we haven't met yet. We're getting the skills we need to put this all together so that like Mark was talking, and I really kind of something we came up, similar. But when you get, we kind of had this way of thinking about something, and so Mark's over here thinking about something like that, and then it comes together. And when you put them together, then there's like some kind of magnetism
Synergy.
and lubrication happens.
Synergy.
Yeah, the magnetism where it needs to pull something together, and lubrication where something needs to slide. And we each had part of the ingredients, and when we put it together, yeah, that's exactly what we were working on. But now when we put it, yeah, now it works.
Synergy.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yes, so I want to have some kind of like words like that that kind of encapsulate everything that we're trying, and synergy to me is basically what you were just describing. Is it's so important. I mean, when I want to approach Paul tomorrow, I want to approach him understanding every aspect of what the message is that you guys have been working at. How long have you guys been talking? I thought it was 2 years. Is it 4 years?
Well, I've been here 4 years. It'll be 4 years in July.
And tell me what a conversation sounded like in the beginning of these calls 4 years ago.
Well, there was quite a quite a full schedule back then. We had like every morning. The block party started with 2 hours of food healers, and then again at that was so 7 to 9 a.m. and then again at 7 to 9 p.m. we would do food healers again, for people in different time zones could
So this is before COVID.
this was this was right when COVID started, 2020. The first block party, which I wasn't at, I came in about the first block party was February 14th, 2020.
Get
And I
out.
and I came in on July 5th of 2020, which was the first after party here that's technically still going on because I never left. And it was the after party for the harmonic convergence. They had scheduled 3 hours at the end of each day to be the virtual lounge for the day's, convention. Um, they broadcast streamed live on Facebook 8 hours every day for 10 days. Twice a day we meditated and called in with Mark Sims CE6 to make contact with the aliens that are out there of whichever kind, various kinds. And twice a day, we had people from over 135 countries that meditated simultaneously to make contact with the aliens, to ask them to show themselves a little more each day. And we were hoping by the 10th day to get a full out showing around the world where we ended the secrecy and made, contact with them no longer hidden and available to every citizen. We didn't quite get that showing at the end, but we had there, throughout the 10 days, there were quite a lot of pictures and incidents and stories, things that happened. A lot of documentation.
Marco, I have so many people I want to introduce you to. And what are your thoughts on the solar eclipse?
Oh, I'm certainly hoping to be where I'm going to be in the path this time. It's close enough, and
I think that impacted me. We
I
drove like 10 hours to be in the path of the last one, and I changed everything. I That's about when I started changing, and then it was just like all these crazy things started happening. But yeah, I'm just
what
curious.
hit me was the back in, and I'm having trouble with dates right now. I want to say, let's see, 20. Okay, it would have been August. It was the same time as I met the goddess. So yeah, August of 2022, sometime around there, sometime after August, might have been in September. We had a massive, a huge coronal mass ejection, a sunspot, that fractured um the put a fracture in the magnetic field of the Earth. And I didn't know that happened, but I was reacting to it. And I have an uncanny sense of direction, right?
I do too. That's so
Un
cool.
Until that happened. And I'm still recovering from it. It took me a while to put it all together. I mean, right away I knew something had happened, and I was just and I've got a few people that I can contact. At that time, I guess I'm most connected to to Miranda, but I know a lot of other people that have these, that sense these things, and it's like you say, hey, has anything been, you notice anything in the last and then they would say like 3 days, that weird energy, and it's like, oh yeah, it's not just me, okay. But starting then with right before that hit, and then after when it hit, it really caught me. But it's just the energy just kept coming in waves. There were like these big waves of it just bowls you over. It's like you get through one wave, you'd be at the crest of one, then you'd be down in the what do you call it, of the next one, and it's just that whole fall, just wave after wave was coming of these just, and every wave was like a change. It felt like a new, it kind of felt like it was changing us. And somewhere like just after, at the end of August, beginning of September, I met this water goddess that decided that I I had really felt with the work we were doing here that I'm on the right path, and that I really am, just from now on. I'm like, so many things that have happened, so many synchronicities. I said, I'm just fully trusting that I'm always going to be where I need to be when I need to be. And I did, made some Facebook posts about that, whatever. And then all of a sudden I was like, when those waves of energy were coming, I kept hearing like it was, the whispers were getting louder, and I was starting to make out, there were clear voices in the whispers,
Messages. Yeah.
and then it was at that time I realized, and I realized that all those whispers, that wasn't all good things out there, that there's bad things out there whispering too, and trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
And then the odd thing was,
Did you get the sense it was all a test?
very, very much. That was part of it. It was for one thing, I started noticing, I would look and I would go, I'm like, well, I'm like, kind of, so I catch myself and I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's good that I found this community, and we can talk about these things, and finally you can talk and not worry that they're going to send for the guys with the nets. And I'm like, I saw these, and I can't describe them, but they were kind of almost not cartoon like, but somehow I found them, I don't know, but at any rate, they're like demons, and they were pissed off that I could see them. And I'm like, they just kind of skulk around, and they're like up to things, and I would look at them, and it's like when they saw that you could see them, then they would be like real angry and snippy, and I'm like, okay, I know who to talk to about this. And I got a hold of Claudia. She was here earlier, the Mayan timekeeper, and she's a psychic medium. And I had to ask her, I'm like, what is the deal? Am I really seeing like demons? I mean, they don't seem real terrifying or anything, and they're really pissed off that I look at them and that I see them. She says, yeah. I'm like, what's, and she's like, well, she said, I said, well, am I mean, is this something you know anything about? Should I be worried? How should I be doing that? She says, well, basically, you should just ignore them, like pretend they're not even there. You don't want to engage with them. And I'm like, well, that's simple enough. But, um, but so I had made some posts on Facebook, and all of a sudden, like out of one of the whispers comes this water goddess. And she says, trust is not what you have. You're talking the talk, but are you really walking the walk? because I had seen this meme that faith on, that your Zoom friends are really weird because I know uh their deepest fears and their deepest hopes and everything about them, but I've never seen their feet. you know and I said, that's right, I got to put some feet and faces together. And I went on a trip to visit everybody I could in Ontario as soon as the border opened up that I've known for 3 years, and there were lots of hugs that needed to be exchanged. Uh, and every time I tried to set out on this trip, I started it several times. Something would go wrong with the car, and there was something else needed to be fixed in the car, and something else. I even got as far as an hour into Ontario, got to London, and my phone, I needed to get a Canadian phone because my phone stopped working as soon as I crossed the border. But they were closed, so I had to drive without a map, without GPS. So I tried driving around trying to find a map, right? Trying to find a paper map anymore. So I went to this backtrack and went to this big truck stop, and they had atlases in there for like 45 and $60. And I'm like, in one map of Ontario, and it was laminated, and it was like $10 for this crappy little map of Ontario. But went out to my car, and it says low air in the tire. So looked for an air pump, couldn't find one. Went in and asked for the air pump. He said, oh, it's right with each gas pump on 14, 15, and 16. I'm like, okay. Went out there, grabbed the hose, didn't work. I'm like, all right, drive around to the next one. Okay, this one works. Go to put air in the tire, and I see why I have low air. There's a screw as big as my pinky screwed in to the sidewall of the tire. Not where you would pick up a screw, but it's like somebody had to. But during the time when I went in to buy the map and came back out, so I'm like, well, shit, now what do I do? Because they're special order tires. And I'm like, I'm only an
And you
hour
didn't have a
back.
spare? No spare.
No spare. It's a Chevy Volt, a hybrid, and they don't put a jack. They don't put anything in there. No spare tire because it's all weight. And on the electric
Yeah.
car, especially the early ones, they were
That's
couldn't
about, and my
weight.
brother-in-law has I think they have 3 Chevy Volts.
Yeah,
3. Yeah.
they give you a
He
little.
loves them.
They give you a nice little air compressor and a can of Fix-A-Flat. If it's worse than that, you just got to get a tow.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we just got a Tesla. My husband surprised the family with just a Model 3. But I tell you, it's the most advanced experience I've ever had in my life. And it's a $30,000 car.
Yeah,
30K.
well, see, that's funny. I have a
And they give us
2013.
6 months of free charging, which is the equivalent of like thousands of dollars in gas. So
Wow.
we get superchargers are free for 6 months. And what else? I mean, there's just like the benefits are endless. They're just endless.
Well, yeah,
Um,
mine is a 2013 Chevy Volt, and actually, my son gave it to me. Um, so it was $40,000 new.
yeah. Yeah, my brother-in-law he has 5 children, and that's why, he just bought them used. But yeah, all of his kids, not all of his kids, but a couple of his kids have them. And yeah, and then he's all his kids are like geniuses. They're all adults and living all around the world at this point. Yeah, I come from good stock, Marco. I mean, I don't know. I come from poverty, but I come from genius, but poor genius. And but my husband, whom I met on Match.com, it's like the Ivy League crowd, who didn't come from money, but they all. I think his mom, oh my gosh, their mom was so smart. and so far ahead of her time that she just, she made all of them awesome. There's three of them, and they're all like super highly successful CEO types. All three of them. I mean, I don't even, I mean, I know it's not super uncommon, but it's not super common either.
It's always nice to be able to say that.
Yeah, and they all live. Actually, my sister-in-law just moved to Louisville, Kentucky, where the semi thing happened. I mean, she just moved there a few days ago, to Louisville, Kentucky. But she had three kids, and so the kind of, and you'll understand this, kind of the magic that I want to infuse into these groups is a sense of family. So I always try to say to them like the matriarch, um, the mama bear, whatever. But
Yeah.
so my sister-in-law had three kids. She lived 2 miles from us, one direction. My brother-in-law had five kids, and he lived 2 miles the other direction. And we were kind of right in the center. And at least once a month for, I don't know, 12, 14 years straight, I had a dinner for the family. And it's when all the kids, all the kids were home basically. And so I was the one who kind of kept peace because this family has a lot of big personalities, but I was the hostess, so I'm like, you're not playing those rules. We're not playing by your rules when you're in my house. So I had to oversee a lot of like big conflict because these people are like, oh my gosh, the egos in my orbit, Marco, are intense. So, but I've always been a peacekeeper. And that is ultimately my goal here. And I know that I will piss people off in the interim, but yeah, eventually. And I thank you for your time, honestly. The things that I will wind up sharing with you are very important. I mean, they are. And I know that just because I've been on this journey for so long, and the more information that I am privy to, the more I realize that, yeah, it is a mission. I've been chosen, or I chose it, or whatever. I don't know if it matters at this point. I just know that very specifically that I have a very large role to play in what comes next, and making sure that it is the best possible. It's towards the best possible outcome for everything, everyone, and everything. And you just have to understand that that's where I come from on all fronts. And yeah, it does piss some people off because they think it sounds, ambitious or woo-woo or, naive, or arrogant, which I am none of the above. Honestly, I am a behind the scenes. I always plan events, but I plan events to make other people happy, to bring them a sense of connection, because I'm very, very good at connecting people in a place of no judgment where yeah, we're just there's like a state of harmony. I'm all about creating harmony. That's why I was a very good event person and a very good logistics person. So Marco, I'll be very, very frank with you because I think we're the only two people here.
Only if I can be Margaret.
Guess what my mother's name is?
Margaret?
Margaret. I did tell you. I already told you that before, right?
Nope.
No? Because somebody else said that to me. That's so funny. Yeah, she hates the name Margaret. Oh my gosh, she's gone by Susie for
It's just I used to watch too much MASH. I must have watched them all multiple times.
no, I think yeah, no, I think we did have this conversation because yeah,
Yeah, that
I
must have
remember
been.
following up by saying, "Oh yeah, I love MASH. I
Yeah.
loved Alan Alda and
You know that
oh my gosh.
I gotta cut in with an Alan Alda story. You
Yeah.
remember the game show $25,000 Pyramid?
Oh yeah.
well, he was on that, and the woman he was working with was a black woman, was his partner, and the word he was trying to um get her to say was um buck, like a deer, a buck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he tried I don't know how many words, and then he tried doe as in female deer. He said
Yeah.
doe and she said knob,
Oh
and
boy.
he started laughing and he couldn't quit, and he laughed all her time away and she lost. So she sued the show and won.
That's hilarious.
And you know how he gets when he laughs. I mean, half the time when he was
Yeah.
laughing in MASH, that wasn't, he didn't fake that laughter. That's his laughter. It's, they but and she said doe, and he said doe, and she said knob, and just like, oh my
That
God.
I thought you were gonna say that he started like, acting like he was, having sex or something, and that was supposed
Yeah.
to rhyme with it. I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be
No,
bad. That's funny. I oh my gosh, everything you say, I feel like I've got like 10 things I want to say that are connected to it. It's weird.
that's
It's
how
not
that
weird, but it's like,
happens.
yeah. Um, yeah, I have a lot of cool stuff to share with you. I do. I know
Yeah.
you've got a lot of cool stuff to share with
I
me
know
too.
I know you said, important stuff to do. I've gotten that message several different times, several different ways over my life, and there have been several times when I thought, okay, this is that thing, and whatever it was at the time, but it's like there's a number of things. Wasn't just one thing. There's,
Yeah.
but there was always reassurance that there's still the next important thing, and it's coming some pretty the most distinct one was, I think, when I was 16. I was picking mushrooms where my dad used to work for a mushroom farm. Uh, it was Great Lakes mushrooms. And when they had bumper crops, they needed extra help, and they were hiring, relatives and wives and kids and anybody to come in and help out. And I was doing cleanup, and the way they grow the mushrooms, it's in these two-story concrete buildings where, there's this like 2 feet in between stacked beds of mushrooms, and they grow in complete darkness. And you go in with a miner's helmet and a light. At that time it was big lead acid batteries that weighed about 12 pounds you had on a belt around your waist, and then you're in there pulling the mushrooms, cutting the roots off, and the mushroom goes in this basket, roots in that basket. And they had gone through, the main pickers had gone through, but they missed things because they're in a hurry trying to get their bonuses. So I was working cleanup, and I was in this house all by myself. And if somebody opened a door to get into these houses, then you see daylight from the outside, and it's like really bright. So if you look, then you're temporarily blinded and you lose time that you can work. So you make sure when you hear that doorknob rattle that you don't look, because it'll be like a supervisor coming through to check humidity or temperature or take a sample or something. So I heard the doorknob and I didn't pay any attention, made sure I didn't look, just keep busy because I want to make my quota too. And I noticed after a minute after hearing the door, that there was a glow in there. There was another light in there. I figured they just put somebody at the other end to work from that side, and we'd work towards the middle, I figured. And after a while we started talking, and it just this most comfortable conversation, and I felt so good, and I realized towards the end that this was just a beautiful conversation. It was a couple of hours, 3 hours, and it's kind of like the time seemed to just ooze on by too. It felt all warm and cozy, and the other guy said, "Well, my time here is done now. And there was this very nice talking. I thought I'd be polite and turn and, keep my light aimed so you don't blind anybody and say goodbye. And yeah, it wasn't another miner's light that was glowing over there. It was this uh semi-translucent being, and I'm like, kind of looked like Jesus to me. I'm like, and I didn't freak out or anything, just felt this warmth, this love. And it was great. And I didn't freak out. I just went right back to work. But as the glow went through the wall and disappeared. And until like 4 years ago, I told that as a story of the afternoon I spent with Jesus. And then when the harmonic convergence happened and I was here at the after parties talking with people, and they started describing their alien contacts and describing this exact same thing type of being. And I'm like, oh, maybe it wasn't Jesus, but it sure was a loving connection. And then I thought, well, wait, who's to say it wasn't Jesus? Maybe Jesus was an alien.
Well, have you heard and I don't know what anybody knows, but the circles, lots of the circles that I'm in, talk openly about the fact that Jesus was Pleiadian,
Mhm.
and the stories in the Bible of and I apologize because I've never read the Bible, but they will come from the skies. That's basically, Jesus understood that because he is a Pleiadian. And right now, because we are having this disclosure on the aircraft, that is some people are saying it's end of days, but end of days just means end of the old days. Now a new era is being ushered in by, because we're about to have disclosure. We're about to have disclosure of I would like to introduce you to all these communities because this is just open conversation with people. Like, I mean, it's conversations like this, but with people who understand, because they're having the direct conversations with them. I mean, it's fascinating.
Well,
It's
well, that's what it was with Mark Sims, who organized the Harmonic Convergence 2020. Um, he had his brother kept harassing him, telling him that he needed to go and meet Stephen Greer and go on one of Stephen Greer's CE5 meditations, and his brother didn't wouldn't quit bothering him, so he finally said, "I'll do it." Mark Sims is a strict scientist, atheist. Uh, you know, only believes in the hard science, and he went. And during the group CE5 with Stephen Greer, they did a ship did appear, and beings did appear that were standing in between them, and the ship appeared for like seconds and then it was gone again. And it was felt he said it felt more like a, not like it came from somewhere, but it came from another dimension, like it just appeared and went between. And so when he went back to his hotel, he thought he'd try and do it on his own again, do the meditation and call in. And a translucent type being appeared at the foot of his bed and then held his hand, and held his hand. It came inside him and lived in him for 13 days. And short version of his story is, he kept it to himself, and then he just had to tell somebody. He told his wife, and his wife said, "Oh, that's just because they drugged you. You were all drugged, and it's all a quackery. And we better get you to the hospital, take you to Michigan State University Hospital, where they knew somebody there, a doctor there, and as soon as she got him in the hospital, they locked him up on a psych hold."
Yeah, I came close to that. I came very close to that. Yeah.
21
Um,
days he was held against his will.
oh my gosh. Yeah, fortunately, I was able to. Well, number one, I got a really open-minded, kind intake person. But yeah, it was two hours of intake with my husband sitting there, just red-faced, like not so much wanting me to get locked up, but just not understanding what was happening with me.
Yeah.
And this is right after my like this profound spiritual awakening where I did see the light and I did have um such a profound immediate connection with source. I don't I try not to assign words to what it was because it's there words can't describe it. It's just everything changed in an instant, and I understood things that I had never even considered before. I all of a sudden was like this very talented painter, and I mean it's crazy. Like the school and the synchronicity on that was my kid's school. I'd been working there or volunteering there for like 10 years. Um, they asked me to I had always drawn like cartoony kind of posters for staff appreciation, but I would literally spend like a month on these things. I spent a lot of time on making sure like staff appreciation was a very big deal for me. I brought in massage therapists, I did like, really nice catered lunches. We did smoothie breakfast where we would deliver them to the classrooms. And so anyway, because I'd done these posters for all the doors and I'd done hundreds of them, most of them are still on the doors, even like 5 years later. It's very cute. But they asked me to do a mural for the library. And I'll send it to you. I painted a 5 by 7 because I'm disabled. I'm like, I can't, I can't be at the school and I don't want scaffolding. So I created, I actually put two canvases together and created a frame for it. So it's 5 by 7 feet, but I'll send it because it's one day somebody will pay attention to it. But it's I spent about 600 or 700 hours on it.
Wow.
And yeah, I spend hundreds of hours on each of my paintings, and I like hundreds of hours, and I have thousands of images that I've never shown anyone. So I created a claymation that is 20 minutes long. That kind of it tackles the battle between good and evil. It talks about it goes very deep. I created it several years ago. Um, and I know one day somebody will see it and it'll go viral because it's one of the last things that's real, you know. It was handcrafted, all of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We can't lose that connection. We can't lose like my dad was a master woodworker. My grandfather was a hunter on one side. My other grandfather could repair anything. And, we can't enter this age where we are so complacent, so comfortably complacent because everything's taken care of for us that we lose track of who we are. I mean, the nice thing about automation kind of taking over the more tedious things like laundry and dishes is that we will have more time to reflect and meditate and spend time doing things that bring us joy. Although, I mean, I don't know, dishes and laundry actually, they don't piss me off other than the fact that I have three teenagers and a very athletic husband and like four people who are super athletic. I'm in charge of their laundry and it's just like, oh, it's just constant. I think I do 5 loads of laundry a day. So,
Oh,
um, but outside of that, I'm here to change it all. I'm here to be a part of the conversations that lead to the best possible outcome. Because I don't think it's that hard as long as there's no ego in the room And right now, I appreciate you very much because you leave your ego at the door. And until we can have conversations where there's no unnecessary emotion based on ego, somebody having their feelings hurt or feeling, I don't know. I'm not good at, I'm not good at the drama stuff. I just don't have, the bandwidth to understand when people's feelings are hurt until it's too late. And then I just, I'll always apologize because I don't ever intend to um, piss anybody off. I just know that I do piss people off a lot. So thank you for not getting pissed off by me.
No worries.
Seriously, it's so when's your birthday?
January 7th.
January 7th. And you were born in
61.
61. Okay. So my husband is 3 years older than you. And my mom is 13 years older than you, but her last boyfriend was much younger than you. So it's very interesting. She just, her relationship, a 9-year relationship was with a guy who was 18 years her junior.
Yeah.
Um,
When it's
yeah.
right,
So
I don't think that makes a difference. So
yeah, no, she's a hottie. My mom is, she's beautiful, you know. I look like my dad. My sister and my mom are like, they're distractingly beautiful. Yeah, to the point where that was kind of their identity is their appearance. And yeah, it's not who I am at all. So, but to each their own. Oh my goodness, am I keeping you guys up? What time is it?
I got another 11 hours to go.
11 hours? Are you staying up all night? Really?
Yep.
They weren't kidding? You do this 24 hours.
Yep. Well,
Wow.
occasionally I might fall asleep, but then somebody wakes me up when they come in or whatever sometimes. I mean, usually, I mean, okay, in 2010, I was in a car accident and I really didn't do well with it. I mean, physically, I tore a rotator cuff, got some bruises and bumps and whatnot. Um, but the major impact was psychological, PTSD, anxiety. I I have throughout my life had prophetic dreams. I mean, there is no doubt. I mean, the most well documented one was when I dreamt about my dad getting killed in his blue car, and my wife woke me up before I finished the dream because I was making noises and agitated as many times as I told her, if I'm dreaming, leave me the fuck alone. But no, she wakes me up. Oh, you were making so much noise. And so I didn't see the end. Exactly what happened. I just saw like the start of some kind of accident and not the end of it, but that then he was, I saw him dead. And they didn't have a phone at the time, so I had to drive like 50 miles at 2 o'clock in the morning to go warn him. And he was asleep, but my mom was up and she's like, yeah, he has to go to work in the morning. I'll make sure he knows, blah, blah, blah. And then I went a couple days later, when I was off of work in the daytime to talk to him and tell him, get rid of that damn car. He's like, no, no, I already had a close call and it's all right. And the minor details aren't important, but he's like, no, no, he blew me off. I'm like, no, 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 really, it's not worth it. Like this car was his spare car, his that he drives for fun. And like every few months or every couple of years or whatever, he sees something he likes, he sells that and gets the next thing. I said, it's time, just get rid of it. It's not worth it. And he's like, no, no, you're worrying too much. It already happened in it, the close call, and it's over. 2 weeks later, killed by a drunk driver in a blue car, in his blue car that I begged him to get rid of. I should have lit the damn thing on fire when he wouldn't get rid of it. But so
I'm sorry.
I had I was thinking of canceling the insurance on my
Okay.
van, the collision insurance. And I asked my wife about it, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna make up your mind, do what you want anyway. Why do you even ask me?" And I'm like, "Whatever. I'll think about it over the weekend, and then I'll make a decision, like on Monday." And had a dream I was in an accident in the van, and I blew it off as anxiety, a normal anxiety dream, since I was considering canceling the insurance, the collision insurance. So I just blew it off. And then, like 2 days later, I had that feeling that I would have when I know something's going to happen or is happening somewhere or is going to happen shortly. And I would, if I'm driving, I would, pull into a parking lot as soon as possible. And I started to do that, but then the lane cleared in front of me and it was a green light. So I proceeded into the intersection and a guy turned left in front of me and I drove halfway through his car. So then I kept having, after that, I started having a dream about being killed myself. And my appearance in the dream was very much, it was like the me. So like it was going to happen soon because I looked just the way I did. And in the dream, I was pinned under this vehicle. Only one arm was free. And there was a paramedic holding my hand and telling me, "Don't worry, the jaws of life are coming. We're going to get you out. Everything's going to be fine." And I was looking in his eyes and I'm like, you're just lying to me. So I'll stay calm while I die. And then I'd wake up from that. And as soon as I fell asleep or closed my eyes, I'd have it again. And I felt like I lost my ability to know whether this was a dream from anxiety from just having had an accident and worrying, and I ignored that dream. So I said, "Is it?" I didn't know what this was. I was convinced that I was going to die soon, or was it just anxiety? I couldn't tell anymore, and I couldn't sleep. I went like 18 months where I almost didn't sleep at all. I would I would go 3, 4, 5 days at a time without sleeping, and then collapse and maybe sleep sometimes only for 20 minutes or an hour and then be up for a day or two again. And then every once in a while, I'd sleep for like 20 something hours. It was killing. Uh, so I've been through all that kind of nonsense. So
I'm here.
bottom line
I'm
is,
I'm here. I'm listening. I just want to let you know that I'm just trying to move because my husband is in bed and I'm trying to move into the closet. So I just want to let you know that I'm here and I am
okay.
listening. But I'm on the move.
Yeah. So,
And I have to crawl because my legs are really bad right now.
so as a result, now and I know Chris, I'm expecting him to show up here at some point. Chris always marvels at how long I can stay asleep because we kept this place between me and him open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for months at a time. And
That's insane to me. I can't even get my head around that. Oh, sorry, Kitty. Kitty, I need this blanket.
I'll
I'm
go,
sorry.
I
Oh,
can,
Kitty, I'm sorry. Don't be pissed at me.
I still every once in a while I get on those things where it's like, oh, I've been up for 24 hours. And well, it was like the last vegan convergence. I forgot it's like I was up till 10 o'clock here, for 24 hours. And then Vegan Convergence started at 11. And I went right into that 11, into that, and hosted that for 9 hours. On So there, that puts you well over a day again. Every once in a while, I'll go 2 or 3 days again now, where it's just I keep, you get a second wind, then you get a third wind, then you get a fourth wind. And it's always like in between, like, oh, if I go to sleep now, then I'll miss my doctor's appointment. I won't wake up for it, or something that appointment I have. So I'll just stay up another day.
What drives you? What drives you to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was my husband. Sorry.
I have
Repeat.
no idea.
No idea.
It's kind of left over from that 18 months of after the car accident, where it was driven by PTSD, anxiety, depression. Um, Now every once in a while it just happens, but it's usually not very hard. It's not hard to stay up 24 hours.
Yeah, I do it a lot, but not. I'm getting very used to talking to people now, but most of my journey I have not spoken to anyone. So I was alone, like alone for years, you know.
Yeah, well,
So it's
that's like,
interesting these conversations were happening the whole time that I needed to be having these conversations.
and it's been here. It was like it's been such a thing, such a blessing for so many of us. It's like,
Oh,
oh
oh,
my God, this
wait.
community. We're, we're
Sorry, my dog is about to step on the phone, and I have to let my cat out of the bedroom because she's locked in here. So, I'm still listening. Just
yeah.
I
So
gotta
I can't
crawl over
count
to
the
the door.
times I can't count the times in the last 4 years I've heard, oh my God, I found my people. Actually, YouTube. Hmm, hmm. What am I watching? Hmm.
I'm moving into my closet right now. If you're wondering what you're hearing,
Okay.
yeah, my
Um.
husband has to get up early in the morning, and I don't want to keep him up.
Okay.
And our son is about to get home with a whole bunch of friends. So
Home.
this is my option: is the is the closet.
Oh.
But I'm excited you guys are going to be here all night because I slept a lot today. Well, I'm going to get super comfy and put my yoga mat in here. Oh.
Can't remember how my YouTube works. Oh, what am I looking for? Let's try this. No, this is where I want to be. Really? Where are my videos? Home. This. There we go. That's got to be it. There it is.
Are you guys there?
Stop.
Is that happening to your screen too? Hey guys, my screen split into 3 different and like. Is that happening to your screens? I don't know how to take a picture.
What is that?
That is so.
I'm trying to find a place in a video here.
I might.
Oh, who's so upset?
Okay, I really.
This is from 2020. Here, I'll just screen share while I play around. So I was just thinking I actually have this one on. This is back in 2020 in December. Oops. That's Christopher. He fell asleep. Actually, a little bit of it was his birthday and he was celebrating, so he was a little inebriated. We were trying to wake him up by using.
Oh wait, am I going to a YouTube?
Yeah, this is a YouTube. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Am I not screen sharing? Oops, screen share didn't work. Hold on. There we go. Now, he had fallen asleep and we were trying to wake him up. Now, I don't know about you, but look at the weird coloring in his.
What on earth?
That's Miranda. She's a registered massage therapist and she does energy healing. And she's incorporated vibration.
I went to massage school too. And most of my really, really close friends are Reiki masters and energy masters and shaman. A lot of them I want to introduce you to.
And at this point here, when this was happening, Miranda's husband was in the hospital in a coma. And he passed a few days after this.
Oh.
But the interesting thing is we were in these Zooms here for a couple days, and I sometimes make these jokes that are in my head.
Like it's stop.
And I laugh for myself or whatever. But I noticed that when I had to, thought of something funny and I thought it's like, here this Miranda's like, she was like, I could have swore she laughed. And I'm like, no, that was just a coincidence. Oh, see, now we lost Christopher. We like
He didn't move.
This is fucking crazy. What's happening? Is that happening to your screen too? Okay, guys, my screen split into 3 different and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 down, and then there's 3 across, and like the screen is like shuddering and shuddering and shuddering.
Can you take a picture? What?
I don't know how to take a picture. It's a new laptop. I don't know how to do a screenshot.
With your telephone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, because our.
What the the fuck happened?
But Christopher disappeared.
I know.
Oh, it stopped when I went to take a picture, but it's still pretty fucky. So
That's crazy.
And I would have
Oh
to.
my god, we made him disappear.
oh my god,
Yeah,
you guys are my new best
we were all a
friends.
little bit worried that we actually made him
I was,
disappear.
I was
How
just
do I send?
Oh, Marco, you were recording that.
How can I send this to you? Because like what I'm looking at is so bleeping messed up. Like,
Are you?
there's Mr.
No, wait. He's coming back.
Christopher? Chris, sweetie? My screen is so messed up, guys.
That's weird.
Okay, how do I send this to you? I want to send it.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, just give me. I can't find my phone. I'm using my husband's phone.
So after a couple days of
like telling you,
this
this is, like,
happening,
the
I'm
most
like,
messed up
I
thing
finally
I've
I opened my mouth to say something, and she said something at the same time. She said, "You're in my head,
I
aren't
might
you?"
have
And
to
I'm like,
come
we were just
back in.
so psychically connected. It was ridiculous.
Chris, are you there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
He's talking to Christopher. Oh, now he's just muted. Are you okay, Christopher?
You okay, sweetie? Oh my gosh. Okay, I really might have to jump back in, but I don't have your names or your anything. Like Marco, if I try to find you on Facebook, Marco.
I am proud of Claudia.
You can't see the chat, right?
No.
All right.
But if you spell your last name,
ELSTERMANN.
heyo.
Marco, I like the hat and glasses, by the way.
Pink. That's me.
Oh yeah, I have
Wow, that was quick.
I have those glasses here
What
somewhere.
happened? Where are you, Chris?
Holy moly. Wow. I'm going to send it to you, Jimena. Hold on.
Virtual background.
And you, what kind? Oh, that's a computer screen. Oh, yeah. I hope I didn't ruin your computer because, you know.
No, I was putting the power symbol towards you guys.
Yeah. I don't know.
What were you doing?
Because what I was doing was magnetic, and magnetics can really mess up computers.
I was talking to his superior being to wake up. You were playing with the energy, and you, Miranda, what were you doing?
I was pushing power to you both.
Oh, okay. It says, la foto se cubrió para proteger contenido no deseado. Toca para ver foto borrosa.
I don't know what that means.
I need to take a Spanish lesson.
Okay, yeah. It means that I cannot see the picture because it was covered, because it was undesired What is this? Is this true?
Undesired content?
That's what her screen looks like. I just sent her the picture.
What?
Yeah, it would take me too long to find the picture
Playing
now.
so much with the energy that it
But her screen
multiplied.
just
And it
split
just
into
is coming back now.
just strips, and then it came back.
I'm glad you got a picture of that. That's great.
I'll find
Well,
that
it's
for
happened
another day.
sometimes.
You know what? We should do these exercises more and see what comes out.
Well, we were supposed to keep going. You remember that night we
Yeah.
kept going in each other's places?
When you came to my house, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like now it's good. I mean, you're a little bit flashy, but like this has happened to me like multiple times. Like what?
Flashy is just how we roll.
Well,
Flashy is our natural state, so don't worry.
No, but every time I go into energy work myself, this is what happens with all technology. So when I was doing energy work at my old clinic, they wouldn't let me touch the computer because I would break it.
Yeah, I used to do travel around to the malls in the late mid 70s to mid 80s doing craft shows in the malls. And sometimes I would go with my dad, and we'd take turns watching the booth. And I went on a break, and he was complaining about how long I took. I'm like, well, I didn't realize it was that long. He said, well, why aren't you wearing a watch? I'm like, Dad, I can't wear a watch. I kill them. They don't last. He's like, yeah. So next time you go on a break, you're taking my watch, and you're going to come back on time. I'm like, you don't want to do that. He had just bought about a $50 Timex watch, and like the week before, and he says, here, you're taking my watch. I said, no, you don't want me to do that. He says, put it on. I walked 10 feet away, 10 steps away, and the watch was dead. And I'm like, turned around and went back. I said, here you go. Sorry. It's a good thing it's a Timex under warranty. You can get a new one. I told you, I can't wear watches. They die.
Break them? Yeah, me too. That's amazing.
But there's days where I'll go to the grocery store, and when I get in line, when I get near the register, it just goes down like on the person in front of me. And then I'm like, and then you gotta wait forever. Then I go to the next store, and the same thing happens at the next store. Like some days I just need to go home,
Yeah, I've never met anybody who was able to do that like me, where like I do it with the TV and like the radio.
Oh, we need to investigate that, of course.
I never knew what it was until you had said the magnetics, which is why I was like, can you go a little further into that?
Yeah, no.
Because I was like, something triggered, and I was like, oh, maybe that's what it is with all the technology.
This is so new for me, guys. Like, I've seen crazy things with the healers, but like
maybe it's
immediate healing, like, for example, they were trying to disappear a line of expression. And the healer is doing this in the air, and the other person is seated very far from him, like 2 meters, and you can see that his skin is turning red in the part that they are working.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
I used to know this guy. I met him at a party, and I was having a migraine, and I kind of went out in the other room where it was, so I could shut the light off and sit at the kitchen table just quietly for a few minutes. And he came out, and he said he's a massage therapist, and I'm like,
just like Miranda.
He says I don't have any, like, my table or my headrest or anything, but if you can just sit in the chair, he said, I'll see what I can do. And I was like sitting there, and it was in my back and my neck just started getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and I'm like, where do you get the heat? Like heating pad or whatever. I'm like, I don't understand. And I said, and I went, oh wait, I'm like, that's really getting hot. And I turned around. He was 2 feet away from me doing this,
Crazy.
and heated my back up.
That's amazing.
He ended up being kind of a jerk.
Oh.
He borrowed a lot of money from different people, and then skipped town.
Can I ask you, is this? Ooh, it's so hard to see. Is that's
Chris? Yeah.
Yep, okay. That's Christopher. That's he's a big, even though he's Canadian, he's a big fan of Bernie Sanders. To the extent that during the 2016 election, he was actually doing phone banking for Bernie in New York, calling people, telling them to get out and vote.
Cute. No.
Christopher's pretty awesome.
He's so sweet. That's super cool.
No, this is.
Oh, that's crazy. It's like I met my soul people.
That was what I was looking for. That 2 seconds.
I'm really getting a little sleepy.
No, I appreciate the whole clip.
It's
So tell me about your energy work, and tell me more about your mushroom experience. Not your psilocybin mushroom experience. I do want to talk about that and the connection with the mycelium network. But yeah, I wanted to hear more about your story.
I don't know. I have no idea how it started or whatever. Since I was since I was a kid, like probably I
You
want to
said when you were
say
10?
8 years old, I started, doing this thing where, all right, so by now already I can feel it's like I have magnets in my fingertips. I can feel the magnetic field.
What are your thoughts on ley lines and the Schumann resonance and where pyramids are located and things like that?
Well, that's really interesting because last time I was in British Columbia, we were supposed to go and meditate on the ocean on the ley line that's right there because one of the it's I found out where it is and it was marked um by they made a little driftwood um like house looking little thing over the ley line where it's right at the high water mark. So I know where that's at. No, the ley lines are definitely important. There's energy there. I've been,
Do you live near a ley line? Do you know?
my aunt does, and I didn't know this until just recently because I looked at a map of ley lines in Michigan, and I've
Whoa.
been,
That's three times in a row. I came back on, turned the volume on, set everything up, phoned again.
Hi.
And it's
Keep
four
going,
four two
Marco.
three, so she's actually left this time because she's like that. Because it's 423. That's her actually doing what she says she's going to do now. Because there's a 42 in it.
oh, okay.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Just doing some history.
Oh,
Oh, Jamin, you're back.
I'm back, but only briefly. I'm just going to be changing into my work clothes because I gotta go
And
cover
we
the
get to
stone
watch.
wall. Huh?
And we get to watch.
Well, you don't get to see the good.
Where are
You
you
don't get to
going
see the good
now?
part. Huh?
You're heading back out?
Well, just to do a tiny bit of work, which is it's about covering the stone wall that's under construction because it's got fresh mortar, fresh cement, concrete basically. Concrete without the gravel, I would call it. Um, and it needs to cure so it can't be exposed to freezing or ideally not even near freezing temperatures. So I just have to cover it up with this insulated tarp and put a heater under there so that it cures nicely.
Oh.
Yep. I love concrete, cement. I love working with it and making
Yeah,
sure.
my husband has put in concrete bars and counters, kitchen counters and
Oh,
lots of space. He's a design expert and has built, oh my gosh, he's like a real estate developer who
wow.
just he understands all of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jamin, you and Pete will absolutely just love each other.
Awesome. I can't
And
wait.
oddly enough, his Marco, his initials are PJ. Yeah.
And
That's my
interestingly,
medicine man. It's
these
PJ.
these are my PJs.
Yep. And my medicine man is PJ.
And
Hey,
another funny
Melissa.
story about my PJ is my maiden name is Parker, and he was very close to becoming Peter Parker. Um, he would have taken my last name if I had pushed for it, but then I realized that I liked Sienna Johnson more than Sienna Parker, and otherwise he would be Peter Parker.
Cute. I was threatening to take my wife's name,
Yeah, sweetie.
Does
and
she
she
have a good name?
not well. She had Williamson,
Oh, that's a good name.
and I figured that I could disassociate from my family that way, and not be judged or associated with them, and that could have advantages. Uh, but then I didn't do it. But she was like all making all these big noises about being feminist and blah 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 before we were married, how she's going to keep her name, and then when after we got married, she said she's like, so what do I got to do to what do I got to do to change my name to take your name? It's like I'm like, well, you got to take your driver's license, your passport, your social security card. You got to, and she's like, well, what do I do? What do I got to, what kind of paperwork do I got to fill out if I keep my name? I'm like, nothing. She's like, oh yeah, let's do that. So she kept
Uh,
basically because she was lazy.
uh.
She was going to go in for the traditional and take my name. And then she's just like, but, but after that, she told everybody, she got back up on her feminist uh, platform. I have nothing against the idea of feminism. I just don't like the way it was hijacked and weaponized.
Yeah, I remember going to an ERA rally on DC in the 70s. I mean, it was probably like 1977 or something with my father, who was just like uber liberal. My dad was basically Bernie Sanders before Bernie Sanders became Bernie Sanders. Um, but yeah, so I remember getting yelled at by some really rude people who were basically like, because I was holding an ERA now sign, and they were yelling at me and yelling at my dad, basically saying, she's not even old enough to understand what that sign means, and I wasn't, and I'm like, yes, I am, and it was just I mean, I think I said yes, I am, but inside I was like, no, I don't. So anyway, yeah, I grew up in DC, like back when DC was scary.
It's
My parents were both artists.
you don't think it's still scary?
No, it's gentrified. So when's the last time you were here?
I've never been there. I just uh
Well, I grew up. I was actually born in Washington, D.C. in 1970, and my parents worked. They actually met right across from the National Portrait Gallery, part of the Smithsonian. Uh, they met in an art gallery across the street. It was an art and picture framing gallery that was already a historical, landmark in and of itself. And they met there in the 60s. And yeah, so I grew up on the streets there. And back then there
interesting.
were triple X, bars like on every
Oh,
corner.
geez.
There were prostitutes in the streets. I mean, it was just a very, very different scene. And now it is so gentrified. It's surreal to me to drive through the city because it's just all so high end and I mean, not the whole city, but just,
Right.
basically downtown. I mean, downtown itself used to be scary. It was sketchy. It's basically just the National Mall that you see. It's like the White House, and all the monuments. That's the National Mall, and that area has always been
We
pretty
started.
pristine. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, I the YouTube video started up again. Hey, Jamin, remember this is back in 2020 when Miranda first came on. See how cute she used to be?
Oh, yeah.
How cute she
All right,
used
I'm
to
gonna head
be.
outside. I gotta go do my insulation work. So I,
All
Yeah.
right, come back,
Well, she's
Jamin.
well, she's still cute, but she's
all
not
right.
hanging around here that much anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's her
wait,
birthday.
she's the one who lost a husband?
Yeah. It's her
Okay.
birthday in 2 days on the 3rd. Oh wait.
You guys want me to keep recording or should we take a pause on that?
Oh, I didn't
Michael's
realize.
back.
I forgot we were recording.
Here, I'm gonna pause recording.